So I think this is a key underrated part of the Dress Down Low song. We got my homie, amazing singer, partner in crime, Gary King, on to talk about his part in Dress Down Low. For those of you that watched part one and part two, you saw how I came up with the hook in LA, sent it to Deltron to see if he had any ideas for it and how that progressed. But to me, one of the main reasons the song works is because Gary was able to re-sing my hook, take it to the next level, and then add some of his vocal mastery to the track. So first of all, I want to say, obviously, you sing the hook. What did you first think when I sent you the record? Like, what were your thoughts? Were you thinking this will work, or I like this, or yeah, this can work for Deltron? Where was your mindset when you first got the demo from me?
First of all, what's up, Nan? Good evening. It's good to see you, man. As always, brother. I was just like, no notes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sing it the way it is, which is rare when that happens. So it was just so catchy, and it sounded like a hook. There was really nothing to do other than to just get the delivery right, and yeah. But it has that thing that we talk about a lot with the Max Martin thing. It's very nursery rhymish because it's just so simple but
Yeah.
super catchy. So that I really had to do was just try and come up with some tasteful vocal, ad libs here and there, some of the harmonies, and I mean, even the harmonies you had sketched out and laid out. So yeah, man, it's just such a catchy song, and it just makes you bob your head. It's got that sort of burnt chips mix of like old school R&B, contemporized the beats. I wish every songwriting production that we did was as easy, and I think it shows. It's quickly becoming one of our most streamed songs ever. It's just the fact that it's been added to over 300 playlists at this point in just less than a month's time.
So most of you out there haven't heard like the early version of Dress Down Low, where Gary's just mainly on the hook with a couple of ad libs in the hook, but not necessarily doing anything under Deltron's verses. This is one of those songs where sometimes we do a batch of songs between me being out in LA and having a certain amount of time with Deltron and Gary either providing hooks or re-singing hooks that I thought of. So we might have a batch of 5 or 6 songs to review each trip. And sometimes we'll fall in love with one, forget about another one, revisit, and then finally figure out, all right, this might be a time to release it. With Dress Down Low, so many girls whose ears I trust were really into the song. And I was wondering why I wasn't as into it as they were. Like, what was missing for me? And what I realized when I sat back and did my analysis was that there were points where once the pre-chorus section, or whatever you want to call it, was kicking in, the rhyme patterns were so consistent throughout that it needed an extra element just to kind of keep the engagement so that it didn't feel as linear. Like, the rhymes were great, but what I felt it needed was just that extra magic where you feel like, oh, something else is happening. We're building to something in the pre-chorus. And so that was when I said, hey, Gary, man, I need you, during the second half of these verses to come up with something similar to an unreleased track we have called Lose Control, which I like as well. Gary's on the hook in that, and he does a lot more ad libs during the verses. And I said, Gary, man, please just add some ad libs during the pre-chorus. So what was that like for you? Like, how do you figure out what which ad libs work, what fits with what's being talked about during the verses? Like, how do your instincts kick in? Like, do you listen? Is there an editing process, or is it freestyle? You go feeling? Tell us more about that.
Ad libs are, I think, as an R&B and soul guy at heart, sort of comes naturally. But I will say, in the old days, before I started producing, I would just throw a bunch of stuff out there.
Hmm.
Now, what I tend to do as a producer, I basically self-produce my vocals and think like a producer as best I can. I'm usually listening through the track. You tell me the pre-chorus, I'm listening to the song again. I listen to the pre-chorus and then I just go. But usually I'll comp it live. I'll do one take in between a phrase and be like, that was good. Or then I'll tweak it and I'll redo it and say, I need to redo it, but maybe a little more energy or maybe less falsetto and more chest voice, whatever the case may be. But I'm usually copying and doing each individual ad lib so that I don't spend a lot of time doing just whatever because I could and then having to listen through it. But now to be more efficient, I just, as a producer, I can hear something for the most part and be like, nah, that doesn't work. Do it this way, go up here. So I'm doing it as I'm going so that I don't have like 15 minutes of ad libs, going crazy and, just trying to be tasteful.
Right.
Because, it's pop music. It's not neo soul. I'm not doing not 1997, and not that I didn't love that era, but different era, different time, different genre.
We're in a, for lack of a better term, we're in a simpler time. Like simplicity is winning in a lot of areas right now. So I guess my last question for you is, song being done, we get the mix back from Ronnie. It goes through the release process. It's out, as you mentioned, almost 300 playlists or 300 playlists have now added this song. What has been the reaction?
5,000 streams worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of our fastest stream songs so far. So thank you to the fans for that. My last question for you is, how did you feel playing the finished product for people whose ears you trust, and what was their reaction? Like, did they tell you that they felt like this was going to be a special one for us? Like, what is your personal feedback then beyond all the numbers and the accolades?
I mean, it's similar to what you're saying with a lot of your female friends whose ears you trust. I think it has that head bobbing factor to it. It just is a really catchy summer club anthem in a lot of respects, I think. So yeah, my kids are our biggest, the Bird Chips fans. So when I placed it for I usually slot it in there next to, a major label artist or whatever the latest song is. Yeah, it just fits right in, and they know the tunes, they hum along. I think it definitely is a catchy song that people, on first listen sort of raises eyebrows and gets the head bobbing for sure. That's been my experience across the board. But I say that about all our tunes. I'm a little biased. You might want to fact check me. In this era of fact checks, get a musical fact check. But that's all I know is it's definitely been. I've been looking at the dashboard and following the stats over the last week or so.
Yeah,
by the response to it. So.
Yeah. So we got to thank all the fans for showing this one love. It sounds like our inner circle was right about this one being special, and hopefully you guys out there, please keep sharing with friends, and just make sure you have your submission in by the deadline and tag us with the hashtag and everything. So thanks to the fans, and shout out to Gary for killing the vocals on this one.
Appreciate that, Nan. And we've got a lyric video dropping this Friday, and I'll also link to the contest that he's talking about as well with all the details. And when you can play a song away with all the instrumentation and all the beats, and it sounds like a song, I call it the karaoke test, or, as we say in the islands in Japan, the karaoke test. The karaoke test is a lot of songs, and I won't name any names, but these are big famous songs. You sing them in karaoke. It does not sound good because it doesn't have all the stuff. That's, to me, another dividing line for when you can tell something like is a standalone thing. And I would argue that Dress Down Low falls into that bucket. So yeah, look for the contest. Look for a live version of it from me in the next week or so. And thank you for listening.